How's it going, Ram fans? CTV is finally back in action after a summer off. Here's what we have on tap for our first Tuesday night sports show of the semester. I'm Leah Cackowski.
And I'm Madeline Davis. Rams volleyball is taking on two huge matchups this weekend, while women's soccer has managed to hold their own to start off the season.
Green and gold football is finally back in full swing with a busy offseason to prove it. As well as CTV Sports edition, Nolan Teubel joins us to discuss tee-off at the U.S. Amateur.
And of course, Pick'ems is back with more competitors and a clean slate. Tune in each week to see who takes the crown from our very own sports director, Mike Walsh.
All that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now. Where CSU volleyball, some technical difficulties right here, has returned. The Rams traveled down to Utah to face off against the Utes for their preseason exhibition match. Unfortunately, though, the Rams didn't come home with the dub. But hey, the rest should be shaken off by now, right? Luckily, the Rams have to have a chance to bounce back at the annual whiteout this Friday. The stands will be packed will be packed with back-to-school spirit, and our very own Zoe Weir will give an in-depth preview of the match Thursday on the new show. Speaking of home openers, Madeline, how did soccer do this past weekend?
While volleyball may not quite be in full swing until Friday, soccer has officially started their season, and they're off to quite the hot start. The Rams kicked off their season down in Denver last Thursday against the DU Pioneers. CSU took things into their own hands in the first half, where they played great defense and got out to a nice early lead, courtesy of a goal from Auburn transfer Leah Cackowski at the 29th minute of the match. DU later returned the favor 5 minutes into the second half, evening the game at 1-1 thanks to a goal from freshman midfielder Liv Moritz. The game would end up in a 1-1 tie, but hey, it's not a loss. The Rams would then come home for their home opener against Louisiana Tech, which occurred only 2 days ago, this past Sunday. Perhaps CSU used their tie against the Pioneers as fuel, or maybe they wanted to put on a show in front of the home crowd. Whatever it was, it seemed to work, as this one was all green and gold. When looking at the box score, it is obvious that CSU dominated this match. Just look at the Rams' 9 shots on goal compared to the Bulldogs' 1. The Rams started off hot and seemingly did not want to cool off. Junior midfielder Katie Coffin scored the team's first 2 goals, with one of them coming less than 5 minutes into the match. The third goal was once again scored by Auburn transfer Leah Cackowski. Seems like she was quite the pickup for the Rams in the offseason. I think I speak for all the CSU soccer fans out there when I say that seeing this team start 1-0-1 is promising. The defense has been phenomenal and the offense seems to be clicking. This is a team that struggled to score goals last year, much less win games. And to see them score 3 unanswered in the home opener can definitely give Ram fans a lot of hope for this upcoming season.
And moving on from the pitch to the turf, 4 Air Raid is back. It's been 9 long months since we've seen our Rams in action, and let me tell you, this year is looking way more promising than what we're familiar with. As we all know, Colorado State football hasn't had a winning season since 2017. Yikes. And while yes, there was a worldwide pandemic and a man by the name Steve Adazio that may have set the rhythm off for quite some time. That's all in the past, and things are only moving forward for the fall. Jay Norvell is indeed back for his second year as head coach for the Green and Gold, and after last year's extremely poor 3-9 record, Norvell and his staff made some big adjustments during this offseason. First, let's take a look at some of the new faces on the defensive side, more specifically the D-line. One particular player coming to mind is Hidetora Hanada, who is a former sumo wrestler champion. All the way from Japan, he comes in a whopping 6 feet tall and 279 pounds. Tony Pierce Jr. and Trey Pastor will also be beside Hanada, adding plenty of strength to help prevent ground movement. Shifting sides, one of the most crucial aspects of having a successful offense is a powerful O-line. And with the addition of Bobby Lawrence, I'm in no worry. Coming in at 6 feet 9 and 330 pounds from Missouri, dang, the Rams also welcome Ethan Erickson, Jacob Belton, and Drew Moss to protect our QB. There are plenty of other new names to mention, but either way, I'm extremely excited for the year to come. Current stars like Jack Howell and Tori Horton are already making noise around the country on a combined 6 award watch list. Wow. But of course, there is a long road ahead, including their home opener against Wazoo next weekend. Now, Rams, it's time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere just yet. When we return, Madeline and I take a deep dive into CSU basketball.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. While football did make a lot of moves during their offseason, they aren't the only ones, because both men and women's hoops are gearing up for the 2023 campaign with some new faces, as well as some familiar ones.
That's right, Leah, but before we mention all the new additions to both squads, let's take a moment to celebrate both number 4s making a return for their 5th year here at Colorado State.
None other than Isaiah Stevens and McKenna Hofschild. All right, I'm going to start things off with Zay, because he, time and time again, has been a CSU basketball staple. He holds the all-time assists at 606, was before held by Ellen Nystrom, and he also has the most assists in one single game. I cannot wait for him to come back.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been dominating since his freshman season. I remember when he was a freshman, he won Mountain West Rookie of the Year, or I think they call it Newcomer of the Year.
Yes.
But he won that over David Roddy. And
know.
we obviously all know what David Roddy has done.
Oh, 100%. I know his senior year wasn't as awesome as they wanted. They were 6-12 in conference, which was nowhere near where they were at the year before, going to the Mountain West tournament, or excuse me, the NCAA tournament. I'm just excited for him this year. Tanjay is gone, yes, but he still has so much more support that I think will really benefit him for the good.
Yeah, they have made some additions that we'll get into a little later.
Absolutely,
that
yes.
I definitely think will help back him. And I'm really excited to see the culture difference in
Me
the
too.
team this year,
Me too.
which I think is once again something that we can get into a little bit later. But it's gonna be a really fun last season for him, and I'm glad he's finishing it out as a Ram.
Yeah, me as well. I know he put his name into the NBA draft. Didn't quite work out, but this is going to give him more opportunities to get better as a player, get better with more pressure, because, well, I mean, he's actually the best player we probably have with pressure. If we think about that UNLV moment,
That is insane.
Speechless.
That goes down as
Speechless.
one of my top favorite sports moments in history. Like, not even just
out of
CSU,
anything.
like sports.
Yes.
I remember I was watching that game with a bunch of people who didn't care.
Yes.
They didn't know about basketball. I was like watching it and they were like, "Madeline, like what's the score?" And I was like, "It's actually kind of close."
It's really
because
close.
CSU notoriously not good against UNLV.
No.
Especially at the Thomas
At
and Mack
Thomas
Center
and Mack
too.
Arena, yeah.
Yeah, and they took it, and then we put it on the TV. Everybody was watching it. When he made that shot, I literally think that like everybody grabbed their head and like ran around the room, and they were like, "Oh my god, no, why he did that?"
Barstool had a day of it.
And
that
then-
was on
and then-
everyone's page.
Yeah, and then he did it, and then he did it in overtime again. He made another last-second three.
I know.
I mean, it wasn't the soccer shot, but like
I
that
know.
was insane. And then he almost made it again, the exact same like over-the-head soccer inbound shot against San Diego State in the
At
Mountain West
UNLV.
tournament. Yes, at the Thomas and Mack Center once again.
Sports
Just lucky, I
director
guess.
Mike and I got a chance to see that live, and I think we didn't breathe for about a minute because we were like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna happen again!" Like, if it happened one time, I don't know how it could have happened again.
That was a once in a lifetime thing. I mean that like
I know.
I mean he has a much larger CSU legacy than that.
Oh,
but, like,
totally. It's not just that moment, but he's a leader. He's kind of like a silent killer in a way. He's not the most vocal on the
No,
team.
he's
He's
not.
not the biggest personality per
Oh,
se.
no.
But when his words mean something. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I love about Isaiah Stevens, because when he says something, it's like he means it.
And the rest of the team trusts him too.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, he's proven it in every single way.
Yeah, obviously.
And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him again. Definitely a lot of shifts with the team dynamic, but the fact that we have Isaiah Stevens, I think that's going to really turn some heads again.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the other number 4
Our
point
girl
guard that's
McKenna.
coming back. McKenna Hofschild. Once again, very similar.
Yeah.
When you think about it, once again, not the biggest personality on the team.
No.
Obviously not the biggest on the court. I mean,
Yeah.
they have McKenna listed at 5'5". If you've ever seen that girl, you know she's 5'2" at best. But she is insane. I mean, last year she was averaging 20 points per game, almost 21 points per game.
gosh.
That is insane because
Wow.
get this. Okay, so when someone's averaging 20 points per game, how many assists would you think they have?
I'm actually not sure. Not that many.
Yeah, exactly. You know, probably less than 5.
Probably not a lot.
Because they're doing most of the scoring. Over 7 assists per game.
That's insane. She does. I mean, that's why she put up numbers like Becky Hammond, because she's so versatile despite her size, and that's
Yeah.
what we love to talk about here at CSU. Is despite all things, McKenna Hofschild is probably the best player on that court, even though
Oh, she 100% is.
not the typical basketball kind
Yeah.
of player, which is
Well,
which
that's
is a cool
something.
thing.
That's something that I love about women's basketball is that it allows for that. I mean,
Yes.
you know, on a men's court, every now and then, yeah, you get that freak player who's not the biggest, but he's still really good. But in women's basketball, it's a lot more strategy, and you can get away with that. And I just think that's really awesome to see.
You don't have to fit a specific build or a specific type to play the sport.
No.
It's a lot more inclusive, and it obviously shows because, I mean, again, whenever I watch her, it's like watching Isaiah Stevens, and I was speechless.
No,
half the
it's
time.
insane. I mean, she was up for the award for best point guard in the country. And I mean, you know, people know CSU women's basketball because Becky Hammond is Becky Hammond.
Yep.
But aside from her, it's not like CSU's necessarily like a basketball powerhouse.
No, yeah.
We're not South Carolina. We're not Stanford.
No.
We're not LSU.
But we have McKenna Hofschild.
Yeah.
That's all that
I mean,
matters.
no, she was up for an award with Caitlin Clark. And I mean, you know, Caitlin Clark is probably the most famous college women's basketball player at the moment.
Yeah. Is it Kaylee Clark? I thought it was Kaylee Clark or Caitlin Clark.
It's Caitlin.
It is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
I was thinking of on our team. I was like, wait, hold on a
Oh.
second. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
No, Caitlin Clark. Yeah.
And there are a lot of newcomers coming, like, you know, or returners, I should say. Cindy Mack, Megan Boyd. They have McKenna is also going to have a lot of support behind
Yeah,
her.
she
which
is.
is
I mean,
great.
the women's team is realistically, it's not changing very much.
No, but the men's side,
The men's side.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
the
a
men's side is
lot.
changing a lot.
we have a lot of people coming down from the Springs where you're from.
Yes, I know. Colorado Springs represent.
Which is going to be great. You know, Nick Clifford, Javante Johnson, Joel Scott. There's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of new faces, but we have some height on our team.
We do
For
have some height.
Which is going to
Finally.
be really, really,
Finally.
really beneficial.
I mean, let's talk about the Austrian kid. Rashawn Mbemba, 6'7", 250 as a freshman.
Wow.
That is huge. I mean, he's only going to get bigger. He's probably not going to get much taller.
You never
But
know.
like, what 18-year-old boy do you know that's 250?
I cannot name one on the top of my head.
Exactly. Like, that's insane. I mean, just imagine him here for 4 years.
I know. Well, that's even there are players that were freshmen last year. Like Kyle Evans is going to have a
Yeah.
huge chance to step up as well. James Moore is graduating.
Exactly.
I'm excited about that. He's going to take a big role as center. Patrick Cartier is going to be
Yeah.
huge again. Joe Palmer, some big energy guys that are going to really, like you said, the dynamic is definitely changed, but I think for the best. I think the team is looking a lot more together from what I've noticed.
Yes.
Which is really awesome, especially since, like we said, Isaiah's not the most vocal on the court.
Yeah.
But we have guys that can come in. I mean, I can't wait for Kyan Evans as well, and also Joel Scott.
I was going to say, honestly, I think that Joel Scott is my favorite addition.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's an all-time scoring, like, record at Black Hills State where he was before this.
Yeah.
I know it was D2, but
He was a D2 player of the year. I mean, let's think about 2 years ago when we made the NCAA run. If you think of probably, you know, the top 5 most important players on the team, Chandler Jacobs is on that list.
yeah,
He was a D2 transfer.
Yep.
He scored over 2,000 points
I know.
at his last school. Same with Joel Scott. I could really see him taking that role.
I think so too.
And I think, coming in as a grad student, he's going to have that leadership experience, which I think is important.
I think we need more also like veteran leadership, because that's why Chandler Jacobs was so beneficial, because he knew the game. Even if it wasn't the D1 level, he still had the experience.
Exactly,
which is really
exactly. And I mean, Joel, if you look at the stats, he was averaging 23 points last year. He was shooting over 60% every single year.
Yep.
That's insane. He didn't shoot many threes, but when he shot them, they went in.
Yep. And that's what matters. We need guys who can shoot. We need guys who can do a lot more things than last year, that are more versatile, which I think is huge.
Yeah, and just, bring everybody together as a team. I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm excited for the season.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, we'll see
And I know basketball may seem a little bit a long ways away, but you'll get a chance to see him at the annual homecoming match, which is coming up in a couple of weeks.
I know.
So
Crazy.
stay tuned for that. And now we're going to be tossing it over to our newcomer, Nolan Teubel, who has a lot to say about men's golf.
Yeah, Leah, while there wasn't a lot of competition for most CSU sports, golf still had some pressure, sending both Connor Jones and Davis Bryant to the 2023 U.S. Amateur. Both Bryant and Jones competed in this event for the second time in their careers. And while Bryant wasn't taken out early, Jones put together quite the performance. Advancing to the round of 32, Jones had a real chance to move on and try to make some more CSU history, Unfortunately for the Rams golfer, he had quite the matchup. The eventual champion of the entire tournament, Nick Dunlap from Alabama, was not going to give up any strokes. At the end of the day, though, this one came down to the putting, where Dunlap dominated and took it 4-2. However, Jones never dropped his head, saying this after the match. "I just got beat. Nick's a really good player. I don't think there's one shot or anything I regret. He just beat me, straight up beat me." So overall, a record-setting ending with Connor Jones being the first Ram to advance to the round of 32 ever in the U.S. Amateur. And being able to send multiple golfers to an event of this caliber is a win in CSU's eyes. Jones and Bryant are both set for huge years and will keep you updated on all things men's golf. Leah and Madeline, back to you.
Thanks, Nolan. And now, Rams, we are going to take a short break.
But stick around after the break. We will give our picks for the upcoming schedule of women's volleyball.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Here at CTV, we love keeping traditions, and this one is one of the best. Pick'ems is exactly what it sounds like, as each of us will choose winners of 4 sets of games, and throughout the semester, keep score on who gets the most right and also who gets the most wrong.
That's right, Leah. And with sports just starting back up again, we have a lot of unknowns on the slate. With mostly teams having played only 1 or 2 games, the verdict is still out on who will dominate the Mountain West this year in women's volleyball. And even though CSU doesn't play football until September, there is still some other college programs starting this weekend.
So let's not waste any more time. Who do you guys have in the first matchup? Who do you guys think takes this, the Cowgirls or the Eagles?
Madeline, I'm starting you out with this.
You know, as much as I absolutely hate ever saying anything good about Wyoming, I don't know of Winthrop as being necessarily known for their powerhouse volleyball team.
No.
And I have seen Wyoming play. They're not a bad team. So I think I'm going to go with Wyoming on this one, as much as it may pain me to say.
I hate to agree with you on this, but I'm also going to have to go with Wyoming. Honestly, I don't know much about Winthrop. And, gotta root, I guess, as Jake Sherlock would say, we gotta root for the Cowgirls. So
Go Pokes, I
Go
guess.
Pokes, I guess. I'm going to go with Wyoming on this one.
Yeah, as much as I dislike the Pokes, I'm also gonna have to go with Wyoming on this one. I just don't know much about Winthrop at all. I mean, maybe they could shock us, maybe not, but yeah, Wyoming, I'm taking them.
Yeah, it's quite a contrast between, their opener and our opener.
Yeah.
Which
Definitely.
I actually believe is the next pick.
I think so too.
So that's enough about the school up in Laramie there. But next up, we have a Big Ten school against the Aggies of Utah State. Who do you guys think?
I, for this one, took Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because, Nebraska, they're a powerhouse.
They are
Every single year, we know Nebraska to be absolutely dominant, and I'm sorry, I don't really know Utah State to be much of a volleyball school, so I absolutely took Nebraska.
They've been okay in the past. They were co-Mountain West winners with us 2 seasons ago. Utah State, they're by far from a bad team. But Nebraska, if there's one thing that Nebraska is good at, it's women's volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been good for a long time. So I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nebraska holds the record for most attended women's volleyball game.
Wow.
It's like 38,000 people or something.
And I think they're already
crazy.
preseason ranked already in the top 5, which doesn't surprise me at all. So that's why it was kind of a
Exactly.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
So
We'll see though.
We'll see.
You never know.
Okay, that's 2 down. Now let's go to the highly anticipated whiteout game over in Moby. I should hope I know the answer for all of us here. Who do you think?
I got to go with CSU.
There we go.
Come on. All 3 of us are Rams. It's going to be hard to vote against them. I really hope we can pull out this win. We definitely need it. We want to start the season off right, and this would be the perfect way to do that.
I agree.
I think that this is going to be a tough game. Kentucky is a good school. They're coming into this ranked number 10 in the country. And then right afterwards, CSU's playing number 2, Stanford. It's going to be quite the test for CSU volleyball. But with the whiteout crowd, in the first game of the year, kids are going to show up.
Yep.
Moby is going to be packed, and if there's anything I know about Moby when it's poppin', is Moby madness is real.
Yes.
It's, it's electric in there. And volleyball feeds off that. If you look at them when there's a sold-out crowd, they almost always win.
Yep.
So, while I think that Kentucky is a really good school, don't be surprised if you see CSU winning this one.
Well, and this is the first real big athletic event that we have coming back on campus, and that's why the whiteout game honestly might be my favorite of the entire year because everyone's back together, everyone's excited about sports again. The freshmen have never really got to experience the CSU match like this before. So I know volleyball always starts off the season really strong. And at Kentucky, yes, they're very highly ranked, but I think that we're going to pull it off.
Yeah. It would be awesome to win
Yes.
this game and then go and beat Stanford. I
There's a little
don't want to
fire
get a
in
hope
that,
in
yes.
my head of myself, but that would be an amazing way to start off CSU sports.
That would be
it couldn't be
quite
better,
the
to be
season
honest.
opening.
And regardless, all of CSU's faithful hope, we can grind out a win this Friday. But now let's switch gears.
To where you might ask, well, the gridiron, of course. We have a slew of colleges starting their football season this weekend. And we picked a few to discuss.
First, let's start with a Mountain West team that might be a little out of their league. San Jose State matches up with number 6 ranked USC this weekend. And this one could get ugly. Nolan? Let's start with you.
The Trojans are riding a high horse. They are riding a very high horse. Coming, I think, 11-3 last season, if I'm not mistaken. And I honestly have San Jose winning this one.
Wow.
I really think if there's going to be upset, this could be the game. They're riding on such a high horse. They have all this adrenaline, and we're going to see. I think San Jose can come in and wreak some havoc.
That could happen, but I believe they're at USC, correct? Or I think so. I believe so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so. Home field advantage does, come into play.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. Sometimes when you get a little bit more of a lesser opponent that first match of the season, they kind of take it for granted.
I was going to say.
So, and
it's
we've
true.
seen that happen in sports history time and time again. So, I picked USC for this one. just because they're the Trojans, and I mean, people are excited about them more than like in a while. I mean, they do have Bronny now, but that is, that's not football, it's basketball. But just I'm saying, like, there are a lot of new additions to USC this year, and I think that's what is giving them their high horse. But that is why I did pick them, because
Yeah, I also went with USC. I just, I've seen San Jose State play. They're a Mountain West football team, and let's be real here. The Mountain West is far from a powerhouse when it comes to football. I don't really think.
maybe this year.
I don't really think
it'll be
I don't
different.
think the Spartans have much of a chance, but we'll see. I hope they do. I hope they pull it out.
I mean, Spartans Trojans, that just sounds like a cool matchup to begin
It
with.
does,
So
yeah.
I'm excited to watch the game
Maybe some
regardless
cool
of the outcome.
mascots.
Very cool outcomes. And while we might be a little too passionate about San Jose's demise, we are just being realistic. But they aren't the only in-conference team with kind of a weird matchup. San Diego State looks to start their season strong against Ohio University.
Yeah, this one I have Ohio. I mean, it is Ohio. I mean, they've been good for a while, and San Diego State. We'll see. I think it's going to be a close match. I think this one could be a one-score differential, but I really think Ohio is going to pull this one off. What do you guys feel?
Yeah, I think that this is two kind of aggressively mediocre college football teams going at it. I think it could be anyone. I'm pretty sure they're in San Diego, so the Aztecs are going to get a home field advantage. But if you've ever watched CTV Sports and you know anything about me, I hate cheering for the Aztecs, so I'm going with Ohio on this one.
I took the Mountain West team on this one. I picked San Diego State. The energy at their new stadium is crazy, and genuinely, I don't know. I just have a feeling the Aztecs are going to be better than they were last year, and so I took San Diego State on this one. That is my pick.
Might be the logical decision, but I just
I
just can't cheer for San Diego.
I mean, I hate rooting for the Aztecs as well, but at the same time, I'd rather root for them in our conference than Ohio University. And I mean, not rooting, but I'm like, I'm going to pick a Mountain West team over
I guess.
that. So
That's
There's something to say for that
there's
one.
something to say. Yep.
And finally, to round off the night of pick'ems, we have a game that really doesn't mean much to Colorado State, but should be a fun one. 13th-ranked Notre Dame hopes to hit the ground running with a win over Navy, but can they do it? Leah, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm going with the Irish here. I'm going to root for Notre Dame. I think they traditionally are a very, very great football school. I mean, their name is just constantly in there. So I took Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I also took Notre Dame. I mean, the game's not. It's Navy's hosting, correct? Yes. So it will be a challenge for Notre Dame to come in and win this game, but I really think they have the tools to pull this guy off.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Notre Dame, they have a good football program. You never heard of Notre Dame basketball. You've never heard of Notre Dame volleyball. Like, when you think of Notre Dame, you think of college football.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, Navy, they're far from a bad school, and they got forced attendance. So everybody has to be there, and they have to stay. So it's going to be a good crowd, and I would like to see them pull
I'm
off
excited for
home.
the weekend. It'll be good.
Yeah. And okay, we have finally reached the end of Pick'ems. We will just have to wait until next time to figure out who got the most right.
That's right, Madeline. And as always, we want to thank you for watching the Tuesday Night Sports Show. And be sure to tune into Local Beats tomorrow for a rundown of music in the northern Colorado area. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you then.